going to shift gears, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the trend jumper. It's a trade strategy that I created a little over 2 years ago. It's been on the market now for 2 years, and I'm using it in our live trade room every day. A little bit of background, I'm with a company called NetPicks. NetPicks is an online trading education firm. They've been in business for over 17 years. We've got customers on, traders that we work with in over 108 countries. I think we're getting close to our 2,000th copy of the Trend Jumper being sold over the last 2 years. So I don't want to talk too much about myself. Usually when I talk about the Trend Jumper, I like to show live charts. You'll notice I don't have a slideshow. I don't want to toggle back and forth between slides and real charts because obviously with GoToWebinar it could be a little finicky, and I'm just afraid that it might present some problems. So I thought, why don't I just show you live charts? Let's look at the trades that happened today with the trade plans that we're using. There's nowhere to hide. This is what's happening for real. So I thought I would teach you about 85% of how the Trend Jumper works, talk to you about why it works, and what I've learned as a trade room moderator. I'm going to be having my 7-year anniversary actually coming up here in April. So I've been doing this a long time. The Trend Jumper came out of necessity, right, being the mother of invention. Having to call live trades at the right edge of the chart, it could be, well, it's kind of scary. You got a lot of people relying on consistent, good trades. And so I needed something. And I was using other strategies that were really good, but one of the secrets to succeeding at trading, and this may not happen right away for people, but if you're mindful of it, you will ultimately get there, is to find your style. Because there's so many different ways to trade. You're going to see that what I'm going to show you now is just light years away from what Jeff just showed you. Jeff showed you a very effective strategy. It works for Jeff. It may work for you. It may work for me even, but I don't know that. It takes time to discover what your personal trading style is. And after hosting a live trade room as long as I have, the Trend Jumper was the manifestation of discovering my own style, something I could rely on and depend on and know that I can call trades every day and that my clientele will be successful. And with that, I'm going to show you Trend Jumper in today's market with the trade plans we've been using for the last 2 straight years. And I think I'm going to lead out with a market we do every morning, heating oil futures. And the reason why I want to start with this is because it's a very easy way to explain the strategy. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to basically teach you, 80% of the Trend Jumper. And you can see there's some live trades that just occurred, but I'm going to go back to when the session starts for us and walk you through how this morning went. Okay? And while I show you trades and teach you the Trend Jumper and how and why it works, I'm also going to talk to you about just some of the stuff I've learned about trading in general, so hopefully you'll be able to pick up a few nuggets here and there that will help you with your own trading. And as a thank you gift at the end of my presentation, I want to give everybody 3 free Trend Jumper trade strategies that you could literally put on your charts and start trading tomorrow if you wanted. They come with training, all the indicators you need. One of them is for the Dowie Mini, day trading on a 5-minute chart. Another one is a swing trading plan for the Euro US, and then a 15-minute day trade plan for the Aussie US. Okay, so 3 free gifts, and I will give the link out near the end of the presentation. All right, so let me just start by explaining how the Trend Jumper works. We'll look at this morning session in heating oil. Heating oil, we start in the trade room at 9 a.m. Right when the pit opens, we start looking for trades in heating oil futures. And heating oil is a great market. It's a market that does take practice. You will experience some slippage. It's $4.20 a tick, but it could be very explosive, and it does very well with the Trend Jumper. I'm using a 20-tick momentum bar, which is a type of range bar. Okay. Let me just also explain that the Trend Jumper works on TradeStation NinjaTrader, and MetaTrader 4. Okay, so those 3 platforms. And there's some great offers that TradeStation has right now. If you get Trend Jumper, we'll give you a contact, and they will literally pay the price of the Trend Jumper through commission rebates and stuff. So they love Trend Jumper traders because they tend to be long-term clients because they're usually successful. So that's good to know. All right, so the Trend Jumper, it all starts with the green dotted line right here. This green dotted line is called the jump line. It's a very powerful indicator, proprietary NetPicks indicator, but it tells us a lot of information right away. It tells us momentum, which way the market's going, typically up or down, and it also gives us near-term support and resistance levels that we can trade off of. The way the Trend Jumper works is it likes to find, there's 2 types of setups basically. There's the change in momentum, okay, and that's what's happening on this blue trade. There is the support and resistance trade, which is actually the name trade. It's the jump trade. It's like jumping off a trampoline, and as you're rising up off the trampoline and you get to that highest point, you reach out and grab that profit, okay? It's like a calculated target with a high percentage chance of being reached. And you can trade it with 1 or 2 positions, or even 3. The first position you're going to take off usually at that middle target, okay? That's right at the end of that jump. The second position, we're going to trail the green dotted line again, the jump line, because it shows us ongoing moving near-term support and resistance levels. We're going to hide our stop behind it, but we're not going to do that until it reaches a certain level. All right, so when you see a setup that's above the bar, like in this case, the little plus sign, that's your entry. You already got your target. The first target, we call that our money management level. When we get to that level, we're going to move our stop, which incidentally is this dot below the bar. We're going to move it up, and we're going to lock in a tick to cover our costs on the trade and take the risk off the trade. So one of the principles of the Trend Jumper is to try to get you into a risk-free position as often and aggressively as possible. All right, it's always nice when you got the pressure off, and the worst case scenario is to stop out with a tick and cover your costs. Okay. The other thing about the Trend Jumper is that all you have to do is click on the bar, the setup bar, and you got the entire trade laid out for you in the data window. You see your entry, you see your first target, your second target, your stop. Everyone knows that you're supposed to plan your trade and then trade your plan. We exercise very disciplined trade plans. We know when we're starting. We've got goals that tell us when we're quitting each session. But not only that, the way Trend Jumper is designed is that each trade itself is a fully planned out trade plan, right? You've got your whole trade, you know everything you need to know, and then there are rules that you follow that help you manage the trade as it progresses, all right? Another thing I want to show you, and then we'll start looking at examples here, is that every Trend Jumper trade has a favorable risk-reward ratio built into the setup. Let me just illustrate that by drawing a couple lines here. Okay, these lines represent the space between your entry and your stop. That's how much you're risking on a trade, right? Relative to the market, your position size. If you get out at that second target with your first position, that's a pretty nice R to R, wouldn't you say? They're not all going to be 2-to-1 or close to 2-to-1. Sometimes they're a little less, but for the most part, they're usually favorable for you. And what that means is that you quickly recover when you experience a losing trade. We all know losing trades do occur, and we all know that winning at trading isn't about a trade winning or losing, is it? It's about the edge that your strategy gives you over time. I like to think of trading as, you know, a trees from the forest type of thing. The traders that tend to fail are running around trying to dodge some trees, and some trees fall and they don't have any perception of the overall forest. The traders that are winning somehow find a way to rise above and look down on their forest, and they could see some trees falling, but they're okay with sacrificing even a third of the trees in their forest if it means their forest is going to grow 2/3 larger as a result, right? That's the equity curve going up despite some losing trades. And you always have to remember that when you're trading, you treat it as a business, Every trade's just a transaction, and I know that messes up a lot of people until you get some experience and realize it's the trade plan and the edge that your trade plan gives you is what makes you the money, as long as you're disciplined enough to be able to trade it. So what the trend jumper gives you is structure on the chart. You know everything you need to know. It takes so much pressure off yourself. All right, so here we are, today's session, 2 years since we've been trading this every day in the trade room. Here, just another session. And it doesn't quite get to the first target, and it comes down and it stops out. So the first trade is a losing trade. And if this is your first day in the trade room, you might be a little bit disheartened by this. Okay, so I'm going to give you another secret to successful trading in a moment. Let's just follow through the sequence here. All right, so the next trade is actually a reversal trade. That's why it's colored in green. The momentum has changed from up to down. All you have to do is click on the bar. You got the entire setup. You can see that favorable risk-reward ratio. There's nothing more to learn. I just taught you just about the entire trend jumper strategy. And you're going to see how I apply this to every other chart that I showed you. You saw when I started this presentation a gazillion charts. So we're going to look at that. So this session takes a little heat. The stop's well placed. It pushes down. You can see additional setups along the way. The trend jumper is going to continue to show you other setups. We do that for a reason. We're not interested in this setup. We might be. There are times when we could literally add to our position and take additional trades. This is going to come in very handy when we're trading Forex and we're trading stocks and options, because you could really build a position and take advantage of momentum. And the trend jumper is going to show you, notice the green line. It's showing you that near-term resistance level. It's jumping off of it, and it's giving you that percentage, that high percentage target, while also giving you the chance to trail. Okay? We're actually in the green trade. You could see that the first target came off right here, and at nearly a 2-to-1, that one position nearly offset the 2-position loss. All right? Meanwhile, the stop has moved down, it's locked in a tick, and now it's beginning to trail the jump line. And you can see that by the dots coming down. There are different versions of trend jumper. This particular version is the pro version. If you were looking at the regular trend jumper, I'm just going to show it to you just so you can kind of get a sense of it. I don't usually do this in a presentation, but I want you to see it's better to actually learn the trend jumper in its basic form, because then you learn how to see the charts. You're not going to get the reversal trade, though. Okay, that reversal trade is a new setup. But you get this one, and it works the same way. Okay, so you would trail the green line. You don't necessarily need the dots to see that. Okay, it's going to come off down here for a really nice trade. I'm going to put the pro version back on. We'll look at the other one again, just so you can get a sense of, this is the reversal trade. Again, this is a newer setup that was later added to the trend jumper. It works really great. All right, and you can see it came all the way down to here, and this ends our session. This hit our goals today, and it took 2 trades, and it made 51 ticks, not counting trade costs. So you got to factor in some commission slippage, but a very profitable session, yet again, with the trend jumper on heating oil. Okay, now let me talk to you a little bit about our goals. We believe, and I've learned this over and over again, you know, I'm kind of hard-headed, but it finally sunk in, and now I would not trade ever without this principle. It's called the power of quitting. Okay, so many traders think that you just need to trade more in order to make more money. And I believe, and so does everyone else at NetPicks and the Premier Trader University, that trading less makes you more money. You want to control your risk exposure to the market. It does require exposure. You have to have some risk exposure, but too much, I mean, how many of you give your profits back to the market? You've had a really great winning trade, you keep trading, you want to make more, and you end up giving your profits back. You might make it back again, you might not. For sure, you're going to have more trade costs. For sure, you got to deal with the psychological effect. The power of quitting is all about taking your profits and then closing shop and going and enjoying your life. Come back again tomorrow, trade the same trade plan. you could still make more money. As you grow your account, you can just increase your position size, or you can add a second market or a third market, trade it at a different time slot. But when you hit your power of quitting goal, you're done for the day. And the power of quitting goal is dynamic, okay? And what it's designed to do is take what the market wants to give you while allowing you to quit positive on most sessions. And that's a very important principle. And we apply that to all of our trend jumper trade plans. So this, and the power of quitting plan that I like is called Power of Quitting 1. And what that means is that once you hit a full target and you have a positive result, you're done for the day. You could also team it up with a number of trades that you would trade, like a maximum number of trades or a hard cutoff time. Okay? So those are some really great principles, because oftentimes success at trading is about quality, not quantity, and being able to hang on to your profits and not give them back. Okay? Plus it lowers your trade costs substantially, which increases your average net profit per trade. And that's what it's all about, right? Your expectancy. Okay, so by the way, just if you want to ask questions, go ahead. I'm going to get to questions near the end of the presentation. I'm going to save enough time to make sure that I get all your questions answered. So the next chart I want to show you, and we're going to look at some day trading first, and then we'll look at some swing trading. But these are the markets that I like to trade. This is actually my favorite market, is crude oil futures. And we're kind of lucky because we've got some really great live trades taking place here. All the goals were hit this morning. On Wednesdays, when the crude oil report comes out, I actually treat this as two separate sessions. So the first session begins at 8:50 Eastern Standard Time. That's the first trade we're typically taking in the trade room. And then we come back and trade 2 minutes after the crude oil report comes out, which is at 10:30, right? So let me show you that, because I was just listening to Jeff finish his presentation and trading this report, and I want to show you how it went. This is what was going on in the trade room as well, the exact same plan. You'll notice 3 targets in this case, but we're still going to go to the middle target. We have a third target in case you want to add a third position, but it's the exact same trade plan I just showed you. Okay, so we're waiting for 10:32. The setup bar is above the green line. You can see the setup above the bar. All you have to do is click on it and you get your whole trade, but we have to wait until 10:32. And 10:32 happens on the next bar. So we're able to get in on this trade. It triggers in and it comes up and it hits its money management level. So the stop is going to move up, and you'll see that happening. It actually had to go 1 tick beyond that level because we have some other criteria that not only with crude oil anyway, it has to not only hit that first target, but it has to go 10 ticks. So it happens on this bar. And then it comes down and stops out. So the first trade only gets you 1 tick. The second trade, this is a really small trade, and when we get small setups, if it's less than 8 ticks, for example, we will ignore the targets. And then when it goes 10 ticks, we lock in 1 tick. And the reason why we do that is because small setups could explode into big moves, and we have very low risk on that trade, so we try to take advantage of a runner with both positions. And it looked like that's what was going to happen. But then it came back down, and it stopped out again for just 1 tick. So we don't have our power of quitting goal yet. We have to hit a full target and be positive. So we have one more trade that we're going to take, and that's this one here. And it does trigger in, and you can see the setup. It's going from 51 to 66, and it just plows right through. Perfect trade, and the trailer even made a little extra. So really nice session, and you'll notice that this entire session lasted about 4 minutes, and we're done. We're done with this session. Earlier starting the session at 8:50 this morning, the first trade of the day, we're just waiting, and you can see right here it comes at 8:59. You got a possible short, but it cancels. Okay, so this one comes in, and there it goes. Hits the first target, trails up to here. Sometimes you get a nice runner. Didn't quite happen this morning, but you know, this trade was good for 29 cents. That's $290, and it only took 4 minutes. So literally 8 minutes of trading, 2 sessions, basically 2 in one day because of the crude report, and we're up, I forget what the total, 59 cents on the day, so 590 bucks basically in 8 minutes with the trend jumper. Do I need to keep trading? I don't, right? I just come back and do the same plan tomorrow. So just so you can get a sense of how this works, let's take a look at the Russell E-mini, which is my second favorite market to trade. I love trading the Russell E-mini. And today, let's just take a look. This starts right at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're looking for that first trade of the day. And here we are, it's 9:31. We get the setup to go short. Momentum is down. The setup is down. I don't need to learn anything different. It's the entire strategy that it's the exact same thing I've shown you. There's the whole setup. Entry, target, stop, triggers in. The stop holds. It takes a little heat, but the stop's well placed. Money management. This is the standard trend jumper. You don't see the dots, but we already know we're going to move the stop from here to here. Just place it in our platform. First position comes off. I'm using bracket orders. I'll use the Thinkorswim Active Trader ladder or the Trade Station Matrix. You could use the NinjaTrader Dome. It all works the same basically. You go in with a bracket order so that when this gets triggered in, it sends in your OCO, right? Your target and your stops are connected. When one hits, the other one cancels type of thing. And you can just slide them to the right level while you're trading based on what the data window shows you. And so now that I'm trading the green dotted line, with every bar that closes below that line, I'm putting my stop 2 ticks above the line, okay? And so it comes down, and finally, you see the 2 ticks holds here, so we get actually down to here. And it's a beautiful trade. One trade, 5.2, right? 52 ticks for both positions. That's a $520 trade with the 2 positions, 1 contract each. As you grow your account, you add another contract. The way we like to manage our risk, and this is another little nugget you guys might want to think about if you're not already doing this, is to never risk more than 2% of your account on any given trade. And what I like to do is look at what the average loss is and then base my 2% on that. And like this, you can grow your account safely because you will hit some losses, but you'll also, it recovers so quickly, you want to still be able to take the trades to get the winners and grow that forest. And if you put on too much risk, this is a mistake that a lot of inexperienced traders make, either so enthusiastic or they get so overconfident that they might hit a few losses in a row and then there goes their confidence. And they either lose too much where they can't trade anymore, or they just end up destroying a great trade plan because their confidence is just shot to hell because they put on too much risk. So you grow your account in stages. Just think like a business having to ramp up over time, right? The starting point of the ramp is kind of low to the ground. It might even be level with the ground. It starts to incline a little bit. Eventually, you're going to be able to add that extra position. Eventually, a little sooner than before, you'll be able to add another position. By the time you've got it up to where you're maybe trading 6 contracts, that ramp is now inclining more rapidly, and that's where you hit that exponential curve, right? You can't go too high. There's only so much the market can handle, but that's how you can grow your account, by trading less, not more, focusing on quality, not quantity, and don't live to trade. Trade to live. Trade to give you that lifestyle that you've always wanted. Okay, because there's only one reason for trading, right? It's not because of fun. It's not because we're trying to prove we're smarter than the markets or for whatever other reason there is. It's not for thrill-seeking. The only reason to trade is to make money. And the only way you're going to make money is if you focus on the edge that your trade plan, that your strategy gives you over time, if you treat it like a business and are disciplined enough to execute it day in and day out. Okay? I hope I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. You should all know this already. Shall we look at one more? Let me show you, first of all, I'm giving you a free version of the trend jumper on the YM, on the Dow E-mini. And it's a 5-minute chart. Let's just see how it did today. Okay, so you could start this actually 10 minutes before the market opens, believe it or not, at 8:20 Central Standard Time, because it's traded out of Chicago. I always set my charts to exchange time. So it's 9:20 Eastern Time. There's a setup here. It's way early, right? 7:55. We could start at 8:20, but the trade doesn't hit the stop. So we can take this trade if it comes back up and hits the entry at our start time. And 8:20 is the bar before. So we could still take this trade as long as it hasn't come up and hit a money management level, first target, or hasn't stopped out. You can get in sync with this, and you actually get in on that trade at 8:25, right, 5 minutes before the market's open. There's another setup that occurs, but remember, that setup happens once this bar closes. So you don't know this. You might know the strategy that's going to be a setup, but you're already hitting this entry. That's the trade you're in, okay? And you'll see when you get this free strategy, you can trade it with 1, 2, or 3 positions. And if you trade it with 3 positions, you're going to go to the middle target, the third target, and you're going to trail. You can trade it with 1 position, you just go to the middle target, okay? So this one is going to hit its middle target, and look how nice that target is. You'll see trend jumper targets usually are very accurate. And then it falls back down, but you're totally protected because you hit the money management level and your stop has already moved up to a risk-free position. So trade number 1, one and done. You hit your goal, power of quitting. Some traders like to do power of quitting 2, where they want to hit 2 winners. Okay? Well, you can see that the second trade did get short. Look at how accurate that target is. Look at how much larger the trade is. One of the other things that I believe, as well as NetPicks, is critical to a successful strategy is that your trades have to be dynamic and be able to adjust and tune themselves to market conditions in real time. And that's exactly what happens. This trade required a target that was 16 ticks away from its entry. This trade required quite a bit larger of a target. Look at where the stop is. I mean, you might be biting your nails when the price pulls up, but that stop has also been tuned and adjusted to market conditions, perfectly placed, comes down, it's the target. I mean, you got more winners too, but trust me, you don't need to keep trading, because sometimes you'll think there's going to be winners and then you might hit a trouble spot, the market could slow down, you might hit some consolidation, and you're giving back your profits. But this is a great strategy, this free strategy. I just showed you how Trend Jumper works. You're going to learn it even better when you start trading this. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. Let's see. What else should I show you? Why don't we flip over to Forex? I don't want to ignore our Forex traders, and I also don't want to ignore our stock traders. Another market I will say is one of my favorites, though, futures-wise, is soybean futures. That's another one of my all-time favorites, and I'm just going to show you that super fast, then we'll go to Forex. Looks like a lot of popcorn and a lot of dots, but trust me, we're not interested in any of that. We're just interested at the trade at the right edge. Our start time's at 8:30. This went too fast, so we had to take the next one, 8:32. First target reached. You can put on an optional third position to the third target if you want. Trailing the green dotted line, ends up stopping out, 2 positions made, 3.25 points today. One and done, power of quitting, and this trade took from 8:32 to 8:40. So that was a long trade actually, because usually, a lot of times it might only take 1 or 2 minutes. So soybeans is a great market for day trading, especially with the 5-tick momentum bar. All right, so now I'll jump over to Forex. I'm a big fan of swing trading for Forex. I think that's the best way to trade Forex. If I'm the day trade, I'm way more interested in day trading futures. It's easier, it's quicker. You don't have to deal with pip spreads and brokers trying to always widening and shortening their spreads, but there are a few good day trading Forex markets. The Euro Yen is what I believe to be the best day trading Forex market. It's just my opinion. I've got a lot of historical basis and information to make that opinion. And again, today the EJ was a big winner for us. We do a little customization on this because it's a 5-minute chart, and what I mean by that is sometimes you get setups where they're just too small. So if that middle target is less than 10 pips away, and it's really 12 pips because you got to factor in the 2 pips of spread, right, on the buy side of your trade. If it's less than that, we're going to ignore the targets, and we're going to go with a 15 pip, a 25 pip, and a trailer. So we split the position in 3, okay? And then when it goes 10 pips, though, or 12 after spread, you would lock in your 1 pip and take the risk off the trade. So this one, that's exactly what happened. The stop moved up. You had to lock in a pip, and it ends up stopping out for 1 pip, 3 pips with 3 positions, right? And then you get a short. And again, the targets are too small, so you're going for the 15 pip and 25 pip level. I got these set at 17 and 27 pips so that when the bid gets hit, you're filled on the ask. You pay that 2 pip spread, give or take, okay? And you can see it stabs down, gets you your pips, your 15, your 25, and now you're trailing, in this case, the purple line. We use a different trailer with this market, and it ends up, did it stop out here? Probably. But a nice trade and a nice session, and you're done with power of quitting on the EJ. Yesterday it did like 70-something pips. Similar session, but it made the money on the long side. Okay, but my favorite way to trade Forex is with swing trading the daily charts. And the reason why I like that, let me just ask you Forex traders a couple things here. Let me open this up and I'll show you a few things. First of all, if you're a Forex trader, how often have you gone to bed with your laptop next to you or your cell phone to wake you up if a trade sets up in the middle of the night? And then tell me if your significant other enjoys that. All right? Or how many times you have to pull off the freeway and answer your cell phone because the price hit a level, you're driving or whatever, and you got to quickly call your broker and do something with a trade, either place a trade, cancel a trade, whatever, right? You know, if you trade 4-hour charts or hourly charts or whatever, you end up being married to your charts. One way or another, you've got to pay attention, and you've always just, you know, it takes over. And that happens to so many Forex traders. That goes against my personal belief and reasons for trading. Because I'm trading to make money. I'm not trading to be married to my charts, right? I have a beautiful wife who I'm married to. I don't need to be married to my charts, you see? So when you use daily charts, what I love about them is that at the end of each day, you check your charts. And you can literally trade a dozen pairs or more and spend 15 to 20 minutes a day with your Forex charts, and that's it. Another great thing about it is that you remove yourself from the equation. A lot of traders, just no matter what, have not learned how to just keep their fingers out of the pie or stop fiddling with the recipe, right? They always feel like they have to do something to make that trade better. Okay, but the trade plans already work. They're going to work better if you just get out of the way. So with the end of day charts, it's a great way to just, you know, you check it 15 minutes a day, you set it, you forget it. You can check it in the morning in case it spikes through some levels. You want to take the risk off, move your stops per the trade plan. But other than that, that's all you have to do. And another thing is, you don't necessarily have to trade the most popular markets like the Euro-US. I'm going to give you a free trade plan for the Euro-US. It's been customized for that market. It works great. It's won over 70+% of its trades over the last 12 years. So it's a nice trade plan. You're going to like that one. But the standard trend jumper approach, it doesn't really work so great on the Euro-US. It works great on the pound Aussie, the Euro-Aussie, a lot of the yen pairs, different pairs you might not have thought of. So let me just walk you through this last sequence of trades here, okay? I went ahead and marked up how much each one of these trades made. When you're trading the daily charts in this way, you can also take advantage of some of the best things that Forex has to offer. One is that you could put on the proper position size. You could take advantage of the flexibility by using a combination of micro lots, mini lots, whatever it takes to put on the proper risk ratio for your capital. And you don't put on 2% on these trades because they're large trades. and we're going to use the additional setups to build a position. And if you put on 2% here and here and here, for example, now you got 6% risk. It's too much. So I'm going to recommend you put on 3/4 of 1%, 1% maximum, okay? Because you're going to want to take all three of these trades when they happen, right? Because of the way Trend Jumper works, you could build a position and you're catching a really great move. Forex moves for a long time in the same direction. So for it to turn around is like an ocean liner having to turn around. Usually doesn't turn around on a dime. It did here. This was a little bit unusual. But usually it takes time to turn around. Okay? So you want to be able to build a position when the Forex pairs are trending. All right? So this was able to catch. You could see it was well over almost, close to 3,000 pips, right? You're taking off a quarter here because that's almost nearly a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. You got 1.5 to 1 to here, 2 to 1 to here, and trailing the green dotted line. And then we make adjustments around our indicators as taught in training. So you're able to stay in this trade all the way down. It's nearly 3,000 pips, and then you come up and you're making a bunch on the way up too. This pink trade alone, which didn't even hit its third target, made 1,300 pips, just that alone, right? You could see well over 1,000 pips here. So just this 5 trades, that's a lot of pips, right? And if you put on small risk, you're going to do very well. Now I'm just showing you one pair. Let me just go back, because when I was showing this earlier, when the Trend Jumper first came out, this is what I was showing. And actually, this was a year after it came out. I was even going back a year before. This was last year. Look at this run. There's over 13,000 pips of profit in this run. And you're able to take each and every trade and handle it unto itself with its own trade plan, its own unique form, its own way to manage, all the structure, no guessing, and everything is adjusted to market conditions. Okay? Finally, there's another long trade. It looks like that triggers in, but it doesn't. It cancels. This one cancels. The next trade is a long trade after some consolidation. That one triggers in. We get another trade. It's a much bigger trade. That one triggers in. Then we get this little trade. All 3 of these are valid setups, and you're going to want to take them all. Look what happens. Look how accurate that target is. In one day, it plows through all those targets. And we're talking about, 67.02 up to 68.18, 68.77, 69. Doesn't look like much. There's hundreds of pips. Look how accurate that target is. Look how accurate that target is. This also hit all these targets too. But what about the one that we're still on the hook for that's way up here? Well, we haven't done anything. We're just still in it. Look at how that one stabs up and hits that one as well, and then falls off and stops out. 3 trades, you take them all self-adjusted, all perfect trades. That's a lot of pips, guys. And, it just kept on going, and it keeps doing what it does. There's some losing trades. There are. This blue trade's a loser, but the little white trade's a winner. That's a non-trade. There's a winner, and now you get a nice winner to the short side. This is just one pair. Remember, 15 minutes a day. Is there a better way to trade Forex? There might be, but I don't want to live in front of my charts. We could look at a bunch of pairs. The pound US is a great one. The CAD yen. I haven't had time to mark up all these, but you can see it working the exact same way. Look at this one. Right? That's a losing trade. But you lose so much less than you make. That's the reason why the trade plans give you that edge that makes you money. All right, so I'm getting ready to jump over to some questions. I think I've got a little more time. I do have more time, don't I? I do. I have more time. Let's look at some stocks really quick. Jeff pointed out some pairs and some stock symbols, and I was just kind of jotting them down because I wanted to then just go and take a look and look at some random charts. And what I did was I copied the standard Trend Jumper trade plan that was heating oil or whatever, and I just pasted it onto a stock chart. And I started with the Qs, and I just put it on there. So this is the daily chart of the Qs. All right, you can see the last few trades. Nice big winner here on the long side. You got some nice short winners here on the downside. And how might you trade this with the trend jumper? Yeah, you could trade this, the stock, right? You could just buy this share, or you can buy slightly in the money options and just play simple directional options trades. You look for a delta around 60 or 70. Make sure you have enough time on the option, right? Time is your friend. Basically, you're looking at, you do some back testing on some of these and determine what the average hold time is, and then buy an option that gives you, maybe 3 times the average length of a trade type of thing, right? General concept. And you buy a slightly in the money option and use the strike price, the entry of the underlying stock. So your entry is right here, 98.38. So you buy an in the money option that's near there, strike is near there, with a 60 to 70 delta, and you just trade the direction. You know your stop. If you stop out, you're going to sell your option back. You're not going to lose your whole option. You're going to get money back from it even on a losing trade. But you can buy multiple options and take some off at target 1, take some off at target 2. You could have a target 3, and you can trail. So much like Forex, you can swing trade with the trend jumper. I didn't do anything to this chart. All I did was put on the same trade plan and chart that I showed you and that I've been showing you without changing anything. We do some customization also. We certainly can. There's so many things you can do, but just the standard approach works so well on so many markets that I thought I would then let's just take a look at some stuff. I'm trying to remember some of the other stocks that Jeff was talking about. Let's look at, I do remember JPM, for example. So let's just see how that one looks. Remember, stocks are a whole range of price points, from a $20 stock to a $1,000 stock and everything in between. So doing some customizing is probably a good idea when you learn how to do the trend jumper. But just look at the last group of trades. There's a long trade there, worked great. Here's a long trade that just triggered in. It gapped up, but then it came down and hit your entry. Look at the short trade on the downside. There's a trade that didn't trigger in and canceled, thankfully. The reversal trade, full target, pretty accurate. How about the long trade? Nice winner. Trade that didn't trigger in, and a losing trade. Okay, so all these trades, there's a losing trade. How about the one before? Nice winner. How about the one before? Nice winner, a losing trade. A trade that didn't trigger in. And then there's a winning trade. You get the idea, right? There's an edge here. You're going to take some losses, but it's all about 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Letting a third of the trees go so that you can grow your forest 2/3 larger. You have a strategy that you can rely on. It's robust. It works on so many things. I think what I'll do is how about, let's take a suggestion. Does anybody have a particular chart that they'd like to see the trend jumper on? We could just pop it on there and see what happens. All right, so I see Yahoo and I see Win. Let's look at both those. Now I'm just looking at daily charts. Can you put this on a day trade chart? Could you day trade stocks? I mean, yeah, you can. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. So let's look at Yahoo. I've never looked at this. Did I do that right? No, it's YHOO. YH. Let's take a look. We'll just take a look. I'm not saying it's going to work on everything. It probably won't. So here's a Yahoo chart. Just look from the right. Just start counting, some winners. There's a winner. That one, it looks like it might have just triggered in, but you got, maybe you need more than 2 ticks on a breakout. But you can see there's a lot of winners in here and a lot of opportunity on Yahoo. You want to probably spend a little more time and really flush this one out. Let's take a look at Win. Someone said RB, and I'm assuming you mean unleaded gas, Chris. Is that right? Yeah, that's a good one too. I like a 33-tick momentum bar on that one. Unfortunately, in the trade room, I can only look at so many markets, so I'm usually looking at 6 charts at a time, and we're looking at heating oil instead of unleaded because it moves faster. But unleaded is a great market, okay? So here's Win. The last trade was a winner, and again, look at how accurate the target is. Okay, maybe it missed by a penny. You could see some nice trades. They're not all winners, but you could see when they are winners, they're pretty nice ones. This is a small risk trade, right? If you look at this trade, actually you come back to this one. Here's, just like Forex, you could build a position, right? Because you got different options at different strike prices, each with their own risk parameters. You got that nice 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio on all these trades. So you can take the short here, the short here, the short here, right? They're all different trades. You're taking advantage of that trend. So look at this one here. This one here got a nifty little tool that shows you your risk-reward ratio. But basically, you're risking $6.63 to make $13.18. It's pretty nice. It's more than 2-to-1, or just about 2-to-1, whatever. It's close. And then you get this one, and then you get that one, and that's a big chunk of change. I like Win. Win looks pretty good. That's a nice looking chart. Let's look at a couple others. Someone wants to look at Google. Yeah, Google's a good one too. I've got a custom plan on our Owners Club. Let me talk about some of the other things that I think are necessary for successful trading. One is that, we talked about the power of quitting. We talked about dynamic trade setups that adjust to market conditions, right? You can see that happening on all these charts. You can see them all adjusting. You hit some consolidation. Those are the moments when you might lose some money. Those are the moments when you could lose some trades. And as you get better with Trend Jumper, you're going to learn when those occurrences are more likely to happen, because we learn what these lines are telling us. This is a 50 EMA and a 200 EMA. And you can learn to look at the charts, and these EMAs keep cycling around each other over and over again with price, with the jump line, and you can learn where you're at and when the best trades typically occur, right, and when the worst trades occur. A lot of times, and you can even take what Jeff taught us earlier today and apply the opening range, because that might tell you areas where you can predict there could be some consolidation. So how do you think Trend Jumper is going to work with adding that extra piece of information? The Trend Jumper is so versatile that once you learn it and you learn how it works by itself, you can then use it with other pieces of information to even better your odds. And so that's one of the things I took away from Jeff's presentation, is that with some markets you can really take advantage of the Trend Jumper setups around those high-low ranges of the first 30 minutes, like what Jeff is teaching us. So pretty interesting. Someone says Apple. Let's just look at that. All right, so corn works pretty well. I would use a 5-tick range bar, Sandra, but I would still rather have you do soybeans because it's a lot easier. Wheat futures are really good on it with a 200-tick chart. Okay. What else? Gold. I don't really look at gold that much, mainly because I've got so many futures that I like better than gold. I think that the best way to trade gold is with the GLD, with the gold ETF. That works fantastic with Trend Jumper, with simple options. You can day trade gold futures also, but the best trades happen too early for me because I'm on the West Coast. So I don't typically want to get up that early. Okay, because I just found that if you start earlier, you'll be able to get in and out and done pretty quickly with gold. Okay? And I know we have a Trend Jumper trader. I think he's using a 513 tick chart or 525, somewhere in that range, with just a standard plan. It works really well. So here's Apple. Apple, obviously with the 7-for-1 split changed a lot, because when it was trading up in the $500–600 range, it was a different chart than it is now. But you can see it still works great. Just it had to go through an adjustment period. But yeah, Apple, I have a custom plan for Apple as well. This is just the standard approach. So we were talking about dynamic setups, right? Working on, your strategy should be able to dynamically tune itself to market conditions, but it should also be dynamic enough to be able to put on multiple markets, multiple time frames, long-term position trading. We didn't even talk about that, but why couldn't you put on a weekly chart on Forex? You could use micro lots. Who cares? You build your account over time, little by little. You look at your chart hardly ever, once a week. Maybe you look at it in the middle of the week to move a stop if you have to, but you could do that. So dynamic markets, the ability to trade day trading, swing trading, futures, Forex, stocks with the same strategy, wouldn't you say that's a pretty valuable thing? It's important because you only have to learn it once, and then you have something that's going to work. Someone mentioned the ES. Okay, that's my least favorite market of all. I think it's the hardest market to trade as a futures trader, as a day trader. Maybe if you're on Wall Street or if you're at Goldman Sachs or whatever, you love the ES. But when you're just a guy like me working out of his pajamas before it's even light out, early in the morning, commuting down the hallway, I don't want to trade the ES because it's just so much easier to trade crude futures. It's so much easier to trade the Russell. The ES, you hit your target, and now what? You're not filled. You have to wait, wait, wait. Will you get filled? Now it backs off a tick. Now it backs off 2 ticks. What do you do? What do you do at $12.50 a tick, right? Quarter point ticks, a bigger percentage of trade costs per each trade. So you have all these obstacles against you. You have to learn it on the job with real money. There's no way to really learn this in a sim account or through back testing, right? Why would you want to do something that's so hard when there's so many other ways to trade that's just a million times easier? That's the question I always ask myself. Let's just look at how it did this morning. I would look at a 1974 tick chart. I used to look at a 987, and then they kind of readjusted the ticks, and it almost doubled the volume or whatever. I don't even understand what happened. It just looked like 987 was too fast. So just starting at 830, keeping all things equal. If you were to get in sync with this earlier trade, it would be a loser. If you waited for a fresh trade, you'd pick up the short right here. Nice target. You know you're going to get filled when it trades through the target. So many times it just stops at the target. Then what do? And that's what I don't like. All right, so there's the ES. It was one and done today, basically. If you needed another trade, you would have just had to keep trading. You would have eventually picked up some winners, but it got kind of messy in here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let me start looking at some questions. In the meantime, I'll show you the GLD. Someone asking what line we're looking at. The green dotted line is the jump line, and that is the line that all the trades are based off of. That's the line that shows us near-term support resistance that we jump off of. It also shows us when momentum is changing from up to down, right? So here's a daily chart of gold ETF, the GLD, and this one has a long history of success with Trend Jumper. I have a customized plan. This is just the standard plan without changing anything. You can see this itty-bitty little setup here turned into a great big trade. Okay, got a few losses in here too. They're typically very small, but the winners tend to be very large. Okay. If we wanted to look at a Forex, a futures day trade with gold, let me just do that because someone's asking about that KW. Let me just do that for you. So let's just go at GC, and I don't remember what's a good time frame. Let's just look at a 525 tick for the heck of it. Well, Sandra asking about the Russell E-mini. For me, I think it's way easier. The Russell E-mini, all right, let me give you guys some links, first of all. You could check on our blog, the Russell E-mini. I'm showing the model, the same trade plan we're doing in the trade room. If you were to start with a $5,000 trade account, and I'm tracking all the trades and a running tally, and you can go to our blog and you can see it. You can see the trades and you can see this is what would have happened. And there's a whole trade plan explained. Once we get to the $10,000 mark, we're going to add another position, add the trailer, and so forth and so on. And I'm taking out trade costs and everything. And I'll give you that link if you want to track it and follow along with the Russell E-mini. Okay? So just coming back at I don't know what time you'd want to start this session, but all things being equal, here's a trade at 820, for example. Did pretty good. The next trade would be a short, and that one hit full target. So gold would have finished today You can see the short before the long here was also a winner. So I don't know what time of day is the best to trade gold. This is not a market I'm typically following, but you can see how Trend Jumper worked. And look how accurate the target is, just adjusting itself. I didn't change anything. All I did was change the symbol, same strategy, same everything. Not understanding why you're long on GC. Well, am I long on GC? Well, this trade, okay, so it was on this trade here. Maybe I'm going too fast. I don't know if you caught the beginning of my presentation, Chrissy, but when you click on the bar here, notice how the setup is above the bar. The little plus sign is your entry. Okay, so we're going long. You're always going long if the setup is above the bar. You're always going short if the setup is below the bar. Maybe I wasn't clear about that. Yeah, I'm sorry, Chrissy, if I went too fast. But that's how the Trend Jumper works. If it's above the bar, you're always going long. And that's kind of nice that you know the direction of your trade at the right edge of the chart. There's no second guessing. It solves a lot of problems. Another thing, just staying on kind of my theme of trying to give you some nuggets that hopefully will help you with your trading, we have what we call the Steps to Success Guide. It's on our Trend Jumper Owners Club, and we follow it like a religion. And one of the main steps is learning about yourself. Before you ever risk any money, you have to kind of figure out what you shouldn't be trading in order to figure out what you can and should be trading. Okay? The next step is understanding and being very strong and committed to your reason for trading, and there can only be one reason for trading, right? And that's to make money. Because what you learn from taking ownership of that idea is that as you go forward, your actions and the things you do as a trader are going to reflect whether or not you truly believe that reason for trading. Because the only way to make money trading is the edge that your strategy gives you over time. And then it's all about smart risk and money management and being a disciplined CEO, operator of your trade business. That's what then sets the foundation. Before you would ever trade this market, gold, or any market with the Trend Jumper, or any strategy for that matter, the Steps to Success Guide that we follow would have you go through a series of manual backtests with a pre-programmed spreadsheet. Because you have to see and feel each trade. You have to feel that third loss in a row, the lump in your throat, the discomfort that you're going to feel, and test yourself if you can keep going or not, and then notice that the equity is still growing. The winners come back. And despite the losses, the forest is growing. And you experience that in a manual backtest like no other way. And that helps get you ready to the next step along the pathway to success. Eventually, you're going to earn the right to trade real money. If you follow that course, you're going to succeed. I don't care what strategy, as long as it's an effective strategy. That's my opinion. I have a very strong opinion on that, as you can tell. But after hosting a live trade room for nearly 7 straight years, I've seen all the problems that traders struggle with each and every day, and we're constantly going face-to-face with it, having to readdress it over and over again. Okay. Chris asking the percentage of our success with the customized GLD plan. Last I checked, it was in the 70s, Chris. I haven't looked at that one in a while. I don't trade stocks and options anymore, mainly because when the market opens, I'm focused on day trading futures, and it's just I just can't take my eye off the ball. Unfortunately, it's just where I'm at right now, calling a live trade room, trying to place my own trades. So I'm really not focusing in on swing trading stocks, because when that market opens, if it gaps up, you got to be able to handle the gaps, right? So it's just not my style of trading, but it works, as I showed you. And I think I'm winding down. Dan, I think I'm getting close to the end of my time here, so I want to make sure I get some links out to everybody. I've got the free link for, let me find it. I had it ready, and then I had to get back in because I got bumped out of GoToWebinar here. So let me see, where's that link? Hold on, I'll get it for you. So this free link is going to get you the 3 free trend jumper strategies, right? And what they are is that basically these are customized plans that only work on the 3 markets I told you, but the indicators are all there for you. You own it for life, and it comes with the full training. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the chat window. Let me know that you guys see it. I just put it in there. You can go ahead and grab your free trend jumper. And then if anyone knows, like let's say you like what you see and you're just interested, you want to get your hands on the trend jumper, it comes with a rock solid guarantee, no questions asked 30-day guarantee, but it also has a 1 full year guarantee. But it does require that you take some trades. They could be in a sim account even. Believe me, you're not going to want to return it. But if anyone is actually interested in the trend jumper and you know you want to get it, take advantage of the TradeStation deal where they will literally buy it for you with commission rebates. You're protected with a really great guarantee. You'll get access to the trade room and the owners club and everything. Here's the link for that. Okay, so you can go ahead and check that out. You might want to purchase it now. That's fine. It'll give you all the information and details about costs and what you get with the owners club and lots of trade plans and this and that. Okay, it works on NinjaTrader. It works on TradeStation, and it works on MT4 with in a more limited basis, but it works. So I put it in the chat box. I didn't put it in the question box. Let me go ahead and put it in the question box too, so you guys can see it. So there's the giveaway. You guys see that? And then if you are interested in getting your hands on the trend jumper, again, we're in our 2nd year. The 2nd year anniversary actually is this month, and it's the exact same trade plans for 2 straight years. Some markets hit record profit levels today, crude oil being one of them, euro yen being another, and I believe soybeans hit record profit levels. So, you know, continuing to work. I would say on average the futures day trade plans that we're using are making a new record equity high every 10th trade on average. So, oh, someone asked about the DAX, by the way. The DAX is, again, that's one of my all-time favorite markets with the trend jumper, but it begins at 9 a.m. German time, right? So I'm going to bed right about when it's starting because I'm on the Pacific West Coast. But it makes me want to move to the French Riviera and just trade the DAX. It would be a nice life. The DAX just finished a 35-session winning streak. It's won 35 sessions in a row until this week. Finally had a losing session. The last losing session was September 18th. Imagine that. I mean, if you look at the equity curve, it's stratospheric. So the DAX, awesome. 233 tick chart, by the way. And that trade plan is described in the Owners Club. Same plan that I've shown you, nothing different. So I think I'm at my time. Dan, if you want to jump in, let me know. I forgot if I got an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes. I know you put it in the box here, but
hey Troy, no, you're right on time. We're good. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. So if there's, I hear you. I know there's a little delay with GoToWebinar here. Let me just see if there's any last-minute questions.
Yeah, the links you were putting out were going to the organizers only. So.
Oh, I forgot to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I recopied them, and everyone should be able to see them. But if you want to put them out again, just make sure you send it out to everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So does anyone else need the links? You guys got the links? Chrissy asking, how many time frames do I watch? That's a great question. When we're in the trade room, I'm usually using tick charts or range bars. Okay, so with crude oil, I like the 377 tick chart. All right, so Bob, are you able to actually see the chat box? Let me put in, Bob doesn't see it, so I'll go ahead and give you the 2 links here in your question box. So here's the freebie. And then I'll give you the trend jumper link in case you're interested in getting your hands on that one. Sorry about that. All right, so it's in the question box too. Hopefully you guys see it. All right, Bob, yeah, there's 2 links. So I just gave you both. I gave you a freebie one and the pay link. The pay link is if you want to buy a trend jumper. The freebie, you don't have to buy it. Bill asking if I could show the 377 crude chart. Bill, that's what I led out with. I don't know if you saw it. I'll show it to you again. I was talking about how we traded the crude report. So this morning, remember, this is the actual chart that gave birth to the trend jumper. It's the oldest trade plan that we have. So this was after the crude report. We wait 2 minutes, and here you can see it was at 10:31. So at 10:32, the next bar, we're able to take this trade, and it hit money management. Stopped out for 1 tick. The second trade, the targets are so small you would ignore them and hope to catch a big runner, but it ended up only getting you 1 tick. So you need 1 more trade to hit our goals, and that was this one. And it came up and hit the target. Crude's been trading pretty awesome today, no doubt. But that's our goal right there for the crude report. Okay. Which one is the free link, Roxy asking? All right, let me do that one more time. The free link says has 0814, says giveaway 0814 at the end of the link. So Roxy, I'm going to answer your question with the free link here for you. All right, so you guys should see it. They're in the chat box and they're in the question box. The free link is going to get you 3 free trend jumper strategies. The Dowie Mini 5-minute chart, I showed you how it did today. The Aussie US 15-minute chart, which I didn't show you today. Take a quick look at how it might have done. I think I have it here. Yeah, see, this happened overnight, so you can use it overnight. I think it's designed for the U.S. session, but you can see it worked really well. Okay, you can see it working here to the long side. Anyway, the Aussie US is a 15-minute, and then the Euro US is a daily end-of-day chart, and I got that one on here too. This one has been really great. This is the last trade, and you can see it just hit a target. Again, like perfectly tuned target, and stopped out with money management. The last trade, you know, there's different techniques you could use, but it actually started back here. So this is a really big trade, and you could add to your position, of course. That was a big trade. Anyway, this is free. These are all free. And it does work on TradeStation, NinjaTrader, and MT4. So I want to thank Dan again for inviting me. Everyone at NetPicks, we were pretty excited to be involved with this. And I'm looking forward to hearing what the other presenters have to offer. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting to say the least. Dan, thank you again. I'd love to come back anytime, so let me know if you got anything coming up in the future. And I want to thank our audience, too, for spending the morning with me and with us. It's really great of you guys. I hope you took something away that will help you with your trading. And again, this is TJ with NetPicks.com and the Trend Jumper Trading Strategy, and I hope to see you guys again. Thank you, Dan.